This next story takes a little more effort, but it's a good example of how even credible outlets can use emotional language and illustrates why you sometimes may need to do some research to find the original source of information. In this case, the claim is plausible, but still seems a little extreme. The sources are credible, but the reporting language is provocative and emotional. This is also an excellent time to check your personal bias. Do you want this story to be true or false? Because the language used to report the story is meant to tap into your feelings. If you have strong feelings about the story's topic, following through with the next step is critical. Yet this is where most people drop the ball. They're either angry that this happened or they're thrilled this happened, but neither one has yet truly grasped what actually took place. The reason people drop the ball here is because the story is more complicated. It takes time to investigate this kind of story, and the influencers who very much want to stir up your emotions know that most people will not invest that time. You must check the evidence, and in this case, there are multiple sources to review. The first piece of evidence is a statement made by the Florida College Board that they posted to their website. Note the statement does not say the government banned AP Psychology. The statement points to the Florida Department of Education. It also says teaching sexual orientation and gender identity is illegal under state law. Districts can teach AP Psychology, but if it does not include any mention of sexual orientation or gender, then the Florida College Board will not count the course as an AP course, which means students will not receive college credit for taking it. To get to the bottom of the story, more research is necessary. The state law the College Board is referring to is the Parental Rights in Education Act, which passed the state legislature and was signed into law by the governor. That was on April 15th of this year. This is where I strongly recommend that any time a piece of legislation is involved, go directly to the relevant government website and read the actual text of the bill or act or transcript. As written, the law prohibits offering classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender to students in grades K through 3. Another good check is to confirm if these topics are, in fact, parts of the curriculum for these grades, which they are not. So why is the College Board talking about high school students? The change occurred 2 days after the legislation was signed into law. The State Board of Education voted to go beyond the scope of the legislation and restrict classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity throughout middle school and high school. These topics can still be taught, but they're restricted specifically to lessons related to reproductive health or lessons where the state's academic standards expressly require teaching these topics. Note, though, that this expansion does not make teaching these topics illegal. The Board of Education cannot make laws. Therefore, the consequences are limited to suspension or revocation of a teacher's license. Now that you know what took place, it's up to you to figure out what it really means. The facts are that the changes in Florida's school curriculum had a ripple effect. The American Psychological Association sets the standards for what professional psychologists and mental health professionals must know to effectively treat patients, which will include homosexuals and transgendered individuals. Colleges base their curriculums on those standards. They teach what students must learn to gain their professional licenses. Public high schools strive to prepare students for college, but if the Board of Education prohibits giving students the information needed to meet the college standards, which ultimately become the professional standards, then it's misleading to award students college credit. This example illustrates why becoming an informed voter is not easy. The story is not completely false. It is misleading. When you apply some common sense, you have to question whether a state governor would outright ban a specific course in a specific field of study. It's not impossible, but it is suspect. The emotional language used to report it capitalizes on people's strong feelings about this topic. And granted, even after learning the actual facts, you may still be upset. However, knowing the facts and understanding the full scope can help you better understand the long term impacts of who and what you vote for. Consider how this story might have been received had it been reported based solely on the facts and did not use emotionally charged language. Do you think the division between viewpoints would still be as wide? The final story highlights situations where the story may be credible, but the conclusion doesn't match all the facts.